Okay, let us go on to the closing sutta. Now let us look at ST 4418, Isatta Sutta, the discourse on archery, as Sangyutta 3.24. Here is another sutta on giving, where giving brings great fruits. So here again we have the Buddha this time talking with the king. That's the King Pasenadi is the king. Alright, so the sutta starts on page 177, the discourse on archery as 3.24, originating in Savatthi. Sitting thus at one side, Pasenadi the Raja of Kosala, and said this to the Blessed One. So here we have the king asking the Buddha straight away, question. Where, Bhante, should one give gifts? Now the commentary gives us a background story, what happened. Apparently this is the time when the monks, the Buddha and the monks were very successful, so he's getting a lot of support, very popular, and the other sectarians, the other teachers were kind of, their popularity was not so, as they were not as popular as the Buddha, they were not too happy. So they spread rumors about the Buddha. They said, oh, this Buddha, he only teaches that you should give to him and give to no one else. No, the Buddha never said such things. So the king heard this, and King Pasenadi, as you know, is very devoted to the Buddha. So he knows that, well, this is what all these jealous teachers are saying. So as a king, he has great power, so why did he held a public gathering? He thought that by having a gathering, he will clear all these points by questioning the Buddha. But you will see in the sutta, he begins by asking the Buddha, by the end it's the Buddha who actually comes to questions, and it ends up as a very beautiful lesson. Right? So it starts off with a dialogue between the Buddha and the king, and then the Buddha gives the closing teaching. Okay, so the king asks, where, Bhante, should one give gifts? Notice the Buddha, the Pasenadi asks where, not to whom. Alright? So he's not specifying people, he says, in other words, which group or situation. Then the Buddha replies, Maharaja, wherever the heart has faith, right? Where do you give? Wherever the heart has faith. So the Buddha is simply answering the question. Then the king continues and asks, but Bhante, where does giving have great fruit? Okay, so this is the second question. Where is the giving good and beneficial? Then this is when the Buddha takes issue. Section 5. Now, Maharaja, where should one give gifts is one thing, but where does giving have great fruit is another. So you're asking two different questions. These are two interesting issues. Maharaja, what is given to the morally virtuous is of great fruit, not what is given to the immoral. Alright? So this is the second answer to the second question. If you want a great fruit, then give to someone who is morally virtuous. Notice there are two questions, right? Again, look at the question. Number one, the king asks, where should we give? It's a very general question. So here the Buddha non-committally says, you give where your faith brings you. Right? So there you are. In this first question, the Buddha answers all the allegations already. That it is false. The Buddha didn't say, oh, only give to me, give to my monks, right? And but when the king asks, when you give someone, where do you get the best fruit? The Buddha says, you've got to give to someone morally virtuous. Again, here he didn't say give to me, he says the morally virtuous. Then the Buddha goes on into detail explaining what he means by this. 5.3. Now then, so the Buddha says, I'm going to explain to you what's the meaning of this. Right? So there's a parable of the fearful boy or the coward, if you like. So you have two contrasting parables here: the cowardly boy and the brave boy. What do you think, Maharaja? Suppose you were at war here, and you are arrayed for battle. So the Buddha uses this very interesting situational case for the parable. He says, imagine you're going to fight, and the king knows this very well. And so you're ready to fight, you're all arrayed, you are right there in the battlefield. Then there comes along a Kshatriya boy from noble family. Untrained, unskilled, unpracticed, undrilled, timid, trembling, terrified, ready to flee, very scared. Spies come to you in the battlefront. Would you keep that person? Would such a person be of any good to you? A very direct question. And the king also answers, no, Bhante. I would not keep that person. Such a person would not be of any good to me. Right? I mean, he's going to battle. You have this scared little boy. It's not very helpful. So the Buddha said, okay, so first one. So what about a Brahmin boy? Same goes. The Brahmin boy is very scared and so on. We should keep him? The king says, no. Same thing with a Vaishya boy. Vaishya is from the merchant class, and then a Shudra is from the working class. So in other words, from any class. The king says, no, I will not keep him. Then the Buddha changes his tone and says, okay, what about section 9? What do you think, Maharaja? Suppose you were at war here and you are arrayed for battle. Then comes along a Kshatriya boy of the warrior caste, trained, skilled, practiced, drilled, fearless, steadfast, brave, not wont to flee. He's not going to run away, he's very brave. We should keep him? The king said, yes, of course, I'll keep him. Whether it's a Kshatriya boy, a Brahmin boy, a Vaishya boy, or Shudra boy, doesn't matter whichever class, I'll keep him. Okay, so that's the parable. Then the Buddha connects it with the Dharma, section 13. Even so, Maharaja, when one has gone forth from home into homelessness, no matter from what family, and one has abandoned the 5 factors that accomplish in 5 factors, what is given to such a one is of great fruit. Alright, so now the Buddha becomes more a bit focused. Let me tell you exactly. The person that you give to, how is it he deserves it? This person practiced by giving up 5 things and cultivating 5 things. And the king, of course, is curious about what are these things. Section 14. What are the 5 factors that are abandoned? Desire for sensual pleasures has been abandoned. Ill will has been abandoned. Sloth and torpor has been abandoned. Restlessness and guilt have been abandoned. Doubt has been abandoned. These are the 5 factors that have been abandoned. Now there's no, again notice here, no name given to this. It's not presented as a technical set. But what is this? What are these 5 called technically? The 5 mental hindrances. So what's the Buddha talking about here? Someone who has overcome all the 5 mental hindrances. Who's this person? It's a person who's able to meditate, attain jhana. Okay? So this kind of person has overcome 5 hindrances. So this is a very general statement, meaning as someone who meditates, is really happy, at peace, that person is worthy of gift. No arahant is mentioned. Here, the person who meditates. But that's only half the story, okay, not finished yet. Then the other half is the 5 factors that are accomplished. Section 15. What are the 5 factors that are accomplished? He is accomplished in the aggregate or group of moral virtue. He is accomplished in the aggregate of samadhi, mental concentration. He is accomplished in the aggregate of wisdom. By the way, all this, the word non-learner follows. Okay, so you have a very good clue there. The moral virtue of a non-learner, samadhi of a non-learner, wisdom of a non-learner. At once you have a good idea what this is. Sila, samadhi, panya. What is it? The 3 trainings, the Eightfold Path. These are only 8 points, right? Then you have number 9, number 10. That gives you the 10 rightness. Look at section 4. He is accomplished in the aggregate of liberation of the non-learner. He is accomplished in the aggregate of the knowledge and vision of liberation of the non-learner. In fact, the keyword is non-learner here. What does non-learner mean? Aseka only refers to the Arhat. So, the best person to give to, of course, is the Arhat. That is not only morally virtuous, but it's also awakened. Thus, what is given to those who have abandoned the 5 factors and accomplished the 5 factors have great fruit. And then the sutta closes. So this is where the title comes from, the archer, from archery. An archer, strong and vigorous, a youth cultivated as such, a king at war would keep him, not one a coward on account of birth. Right? So he's telling the king. So he says, you will keep an archer who's good and brave, don't you? Next verse, 19. Thus indeed, patience and meekness, who is established in such a state, noble in conduct, wise, even of low birth, one should honor. Right? So here the Buddha says, the first verse the Buddha talks about this archer who is a soldier. Second one is the monk, very patient, very gentle, meek, not fierce. Notice the sutta just says patient and meek. Some time ago we saw this problem in Myanmar. There was this monk who actually advocated violence. And you can see his face so full of hatred, and that is quite shocking, right? So here in this sutta the Buddha says patience and meekness. Meekness means gentleness. Verse 20. One should build delightful hermitages for the greatly learned to live in, and build watersheds in the arid wilds, and passages through rough terrain. Okay, this is the Buddha telling the king what he should do. This is more like social welfare, if you like. Say, well, it is in your power to build comfortable, proper places for the good religious people, hermitages. Here, delightful meaning there are trees, and water available, and peace. And then also says you should build in dry areas, sheds to protect travelers in the hot sun, and then there's a well that they can drink water. Right? So these are basic amenities, if you like. Section 22. Just as the thundering clouds, lightning wreath, 100-crested, fill the plains and valleys full, showering heavily upon the earth, even so the faithful, the learned, having prepared a meal, satisfies the mendicant who are wise with food and drinks, rejoicing. He makes gifts be given, saying, give, give. Okay? So here the Buddha is talking about the benefits of giving. He says, when you give something, it's like water from the mountains coming down. So this is to show water, meaning plentiful, and then the water coming down from high level to low level. So it's a teaching on giving, in other words. No? Okay. We're on page 179. And then the last verse says, for that is his thunder, just like that of rain. The floods of merit in torrents will shower upon the giver. So here the Buddha basically is saying the benefit of giving is great merits will come upon you. Giving gives you a sense of joy. Even nowadays you find psychologists tell you when you give you feel good, a sense of feeling joy. The interesting thing is, even the moment before giving, you are planning to give, that thought itself makes you feel good also. So, and of course the act of giving itself. And then after you have given, you think back and say, okay, I've done this giving, and you feel good. So there are 3 moments when you feel good. And this is one way where you have this sense of well-being. Alright? On the other hand, you might find people who are very miserly, they're not happy at all, they say don't give and so on. So you find it affects their health too. So the sutta ends here with telling the king about the best person to give to, of course, is the Arhat, fully awakened. Okay, any questions here? Feedback? We have a bit of time, maybe you can ask some questions if you want.
Explain more of this sloth and torpor.
Okay, just on page 178, section 14. These are the 5 mental hindrances. Now notice the location of sloth and torpor is right in the middle. What are the things that hinder our meditation? Number 1, desire for sense pleasures. In other words, we are distracted by our senses, basically. Right? So what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel. Evil is just the opposite. When you can't get those things, you feel upset, unhappy. And then sloth and torpor. You feel tired, restless, tired, sleepy. And then when that goes on for a while, then you build up some energy, wrong kind of energy, then you become restless, and then guilt feeling starts arising in your mind. Restlessness is more about thinking what to do in the future, whereas guilt about the past, generally. And then number 5 is doubt. You have questions, you're uncertain about this, uncertain about that, because your Dhamma grounding is not very strong. Sloth and torpor, you can say there are 2 kinds. The first is physical, okay? Sleepiness, tiredness. So, of course, this has to do with meditation. If you don't have enough rest, you're too tired, it's difficult to meditate, you're too tired. But on the other hand, if you're a good meditator, even when you're tired, you meditate, you kind of rest and you energize yourself, that can happen too. On the other hand, if you say, take too much food, you don't need so much food, but you take too much food, then you'll be sleepy, and that can be difficult. So that is why during retreats, normally just give you just enough food. It's not that they don't have the amount to feed you, rather you don't need so much food, and it's healthy that way too, and you feel more ready to meditate. Sloth will not, like the sloth on top of the setting. So that's about physical tiredness, sleepiness. Now, mental sleepiness, mental tiredness is even more tricky. One possible reason is that the object of meditation is not suitable. So, for example, some people, they can't do breath meditation. When they try to, they feel sleepy. The teacher will notice that and maybe give them the object of loving kindness, maybe, right? So they have to use an object which interests them. See, the word interest means your mind is able to focus on this meditation object, right? So if you are not able to do that, then you get this mental sleepiness. Of course, other reasons possible, your mind is elsewhere. You're not focused. So you've got to clear away those distractions. This is where we can call it filtering the mind, letting go. Usually it could be sounds. For example, let's say if you don't have a lot of metta or you do not know Dhamma very well, you may have fear of sounds. you stay in a quiet place and you find the sounds frighten you. In some cases, you find people, like in Singapore, we're so used to living in a bright place, even at night, it's very bright. You know, some people, let's say you go for some retreat center, and then by 9 o'clock, in some of these places, it's all lights out, it's very dark, you know, and if you're not used to sleeping so early, you know, you find it so dark and you feel fear, right? So you can include, of course, fear is something else, but you got to do metta in this case, right? It's fear. On the other hand, if it is sleepiness, then one way is to have something bright in front of you, or just meditate in a bright place. Maybe have a candle in front of you, just for the light, not to meditate on the candle. Or if there's a beautiful full moon, face the brightness, or something bright basically. That will help to brighten yourself. Another possible reason for mental sleepiness to arise is because you have already gone beyond your limit, especially as a beginner. You know? That's why I always tell beginners, don't push yourself too hard. After a few minutes you find, you say, no, okay, stop a while, take a break, you know, and then slowly you increase the time. So these are some ways to overcome stop and torpor. Okay? There is a whole chapter on stop and torpor. I think it's in, which chapter is that? On hindrances, is it? Is it 32?
Yes.
Okay, SD 32. Huh? Yeah, you look at SD 32, it says mental hindrances. So you just go online, you look this up, and look under the chapter on sloth and torpor. Just details that. Of course, the most famous case of sloth and torpor is that of Moggallana. Right? Then the Buddha gave 8 methods of overcoming sloth and torpor. Okay, so you can read up on those 8 methods. Right. Some of them include walking meditation, washing the face, looking at some bright star in the sky. But the last advice the Buddha gave is the best. The Buddha said, you try all this, it won't work, and go to sleep. So you must rest because you're very tired, so don't force yourself. Very commonsensical advice. Yeah? Of course, it's the last one, remember, it's not the first one. Okay? So, respect for the body is very important in meditation. Okay, anything else? 5 more minutes.
What about doubt? Doubt of what?
Doubt basically is the mind talking to itself, questioning. What is this? Did I do this right? Of course, the first thing probably could be meditation. Could be others say, am I doing this right? That's why it's very important to get right instructions about meditation. Right? Number 2, thoughts about Dhamma may arise, because the mind is so peaceful. You say, oh, what does this mean? What is dependent arising? You know, right? So you have to study all these things. Right? But even then, as I said, during meditation, we don't intellectualize. Right? Of course, in the case of monks, in the silence of their minds, they may start wondering about, oh, have I broken this rule? Will I break the rule if I do this? That's why, again, for a monk, they need all the proper training before they go for solitary retreat on their own, so that they don't have doubts about the Vinaya. Okay? So, doubts can arise about the Buddha, about the Dhamma, about the Sangha, about yourself. Okay? So, doubt basically is the mind chattering, talking to itself, questioning itself. Any other questions?
Behind the Devahita Sutta, the gift to the Buddha is water and medicine.
Yes.
The Buddha said if somebody makes a gift of money or material thing to the Arhat, what should they do?
Oh yeah, there are suttas, you know. For example, there was this monk, a very powerful person comes along, he works for the king, you know, and he's very impressed by this monk, he's very peaceful. They tells the monk, say, you know, I'm working for the king and he gives me so much money, I'd like to give part of it to you. Then the monk says very clearly, says, we do not accept gifts of money. Then the layperson asks, how can we give you? He says, you can build a monastery, right? For the Sangha. He didn't say build for me, he says for the Sangha. So he doesn't own it, it's for the Sangha. And the idea for the Sangha is good because as long as the Sangha exists, it belongs to them. So this is the sad thing in Buddha Gaya, After a while, the monks disappeared. Then the Brahmins took over Buddha Gaya, and also the Brahmins own Buddha Gaya. So it's rather sad. So when you go there, actually, it's the Brahmin who's owning the place. So basically, this what Buddha is saying. Monks do not accept money, but the layperson can build this useful, suitable place for the monks, and they maintain it, they support the monks, whatever they need in a worldly way. Of course, you can. Then there's another concept called pavarana, invitation. So a monk, unless it's a relative, if it's not a relative, he cannot come to you and say, I want this, I want that. Especially, and then again, there are certain things which are said to be unallowable. Although you may allow them to ask, but they cannot ask, may I have a television set, for example, Of course, we have a problem nowadays, For example, is computers allowable or not? This is quite tricky. Of course, so most people will say, it's okay if a monk asks, I would like to have a computer, But if you really think technically, is it necessary or not? So there's this kind of grey area there.
But if they use it to learn the sutta and teach,
I suppose so.
Okay, right?
But you have to remember,
there's a limit they have to set.
Yeah, this is one of those. These are challenges of the new generation. For example, if he really is a forest monk, he shouldn't be taking the computer to under the tree, right? So there are these kind of issues now.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a monastery, it's different. So these are new developments where it depends how strict the monk wants to be. Yeah. I don't know whether there are real forest monks nowadays or not. In fact, even forest monks have lots of things nowadays. There are very few really traditional forest monks today. So I suppose in the next generation you may have lay people playing a greater role in teaching the Dharma, So in the sense that they keep the rules better also. So these are some of the issues you have to really deal very carefully. Right? In fact, even in my work, there are not many monks who are really helpful. The last I had this question about yojana. So I wrote, yojana is a measurement. I was translating this passage on Mara. The passage says, Mara's army is so many yojanas high, say 10 yojanas high. It says, but Mara's elephant is 150 yojanas high. I said, wow, that's huge, So the elephant is much bigger than all the other army. So it's very difficult to imagine. Then I checked. I said, no, the suttas don't simply write things rigorously. Then I realized actually there are two measurements of yojana. One yojana is the length of the plough, and the other one is the distance this what you call a cow can go in a day. So there is measure of distance, there is measure of height. So if you measure again according to the height of a person in one yojana, so you find the elephant is high, but not kind of over-imaginatively high. But I was not sure, so I wrote to 3 people. I said, what do you think of this? I wrote to a scholar monk, he didn't reply. I wrote to a lay scholar, he replied. And this person is very interactive, very kind. And of course, the third person is a monk, it's a Chandramali. He always replies. But this time he replies late. So I leave it like that. Then the reply came in yesterday. He says, "Oh, I've been on retreat. I'm sorry for replying so late." And of course, he says this is a difficult question because those ancient measurements are very difficult to. One of the problems with the ancient measurements is it's like in China. You got different parts, they're different lengths. So in India also, so you got to see which country are you in India. So the Ayojana is a different length. But he gave me some interesting information. And he wrote something very interesting in his reply. He says, this is quite a difficult topic. And he mentioned something. He says, wow, these are difficult stuff. I don't know how you can come up with all this question. You are a much better scholar than I am. So you find, although he's the head of the temple, he is a very humble person. The important thing is, we want to have monks whom we can rely on when we have such difficulties. And it's not easy nowadays to find such a monk. So it's wonderful to have people like that who can help us with all these problems and have to clear the translation also. So you have a monk here who is practicing and who knows his stuff well, especially the Vinaya. Anyway, that's just something extra to share with you. Okay, anything else? Alright, so we are finished with this volume 44. Now we're going to go to volume 45 next. I'm working volume 51A at the moment. So it will release next week, I think. Okay, so we'll close for today. Let's close with a short reflection. Now we have finished one more volume, ST44. It is a wonderful occasion to know we have completed study of one set of suttas. It's not just studying something, it means we have really enjoyed the benefit of our good karma, to be able to sit here peacefully all this time, to be able to focus on the Buddha's teaching. Remember the story of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree of Mara coming and challenging the Buddha, trying to prevent him from sitting under the Bodhi tree so that he doesn't become awakened. So this is our Bodhi tree, this is our Bodhi seat as we sit here to listen to the Buddha's teaching. It may be nothing much, so we think, but these little bits of drops of wisdom, we are strengthening our good karma, our peace of mind. And as we mature, as we age, this inner peace is a very important part of our happiness, the peace that we'll feel for the rest of our lives. So this is the very moment that we are building this wonderful inner peace, reflecting this way, this wonderful, happy, good karma. But the power of such karma may we be blessed and with the courage and wisdom to aspire to at least attain string winning in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, let us fill ourselves with loving kindness so that we are strong and wise and healthy to practice the Buddha's teaching and to send our loving kindness to our loved ones, to those who have been kind and supportive of us. May they be well and happy too. And finally, by the power of the three jewels, may those who are seeking the truth, facing all kinds of difficulties, may they too see the true teaching in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu.